You're listening to Table for Five with Felicia and Annette, only on LA Talk Radio.
Good Monday morning, everyone.
Good morning. Is it a good morning?
It is.
It is.
We're going to make it
positive.
Yes, we're going to make it a good morning. Hello. Hey.
Yes, we will.
Yes,
good
hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our show, Table for Five.
We have a full
table.
We
have a full table again this week.
With men.
Yes. It's always great to have men in studio.
Yes.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our show, Table for Five, where you, the listening audience and viewing audience, will always have a seat at this very table right here for whatever it is that we're discussing, talking about getting through, changing the world. Yes, we do plan to change the world
do today?
with this show.
Oh, my goodness.
One show at a time. Yes. We hope that you can join us in changing the world every week, every Monday morning from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Get that PST in.
Yes. So
and
tell your friends, tell your family to go hide your kids.
Wow. Oh, yeah. We might have to do that soon. But no, but there's a number everyone could call in.
There is. So if you want to join in on our conversation today, or if you have something that you want to talk about, get off your chest, because you know it's a long weekend. Wow. The phone number to call is area code 818-570-5085. Again, 818-570-5085. We will be taking your calls if you so choose to jump in on this conversation.
Yes.
But before we get started,
do we want to introduce our guests?
No, would you like to talk about social media?
The script. Yes. The script that I work on so diligently every weekend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could catch us on Facebook. I'm hoping we're on Facebook Live. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
And also on Instagram, Table for Five, Twitter, Table for Five, and our website. We have a beautiful website where you can find all of our past shows. You could go to the gallery. You could go to the archives. And it's table-4, 5.com.
And telling people to go to the gallery view to look at past shows. So if you're like, oh, I missed last week, that's the best place to go and pick it up at easiest place, because then you can see the picture of who was on.
Yeah, there's
you
a little
click
link
on that picture and then it will take you directly to the show.
Yes.
So that's just a little tad bit of information that we're throwing out there for you all.
So there's a way to reach us.
Yes.
Connect with us.
Yes.
And if you want to advertise with us, there's a way you can do that there too.
Absolutely. To all the people who are watching and listening can get some information on your business, products, whatever it is that you're trying to get on out there and change the world with as well.
I know.
So today's show is going to be, we're calling it Latino Men at the Top of Their Field. I like to say top of your game, because you guys are looking
succeeding
sharp
in business
today. Y'all are just,
I know, you look like twins.
Winning. Y'all are winning today.
So great mind thinks alike.
Thinks alike. Okay, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. There you go.
Yes, with our guest,
Evy
Zavala, criminal defense and personal injury attorney.
Is that correct?
Yes. And your website, he's got a website also too. It's ZavalaLawFirm.com. We'll say it one more time. The link will also be up.
Yes, it'll be on our website.
LawFirm.com. Now, when you write it down, don't get a little crazy, because it says Zavala la 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 la. We just decided that's going to be his new jingle, and we're going to run with that, because it's a lot of la la la's in that website. But that's awesome, because no one will ever forget it.
Exactly.
Right. You need an attorney, just say la 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 la.
Call la 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 la.
That should be your 800 number, right?
There you go.
1-800 la 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 la.
Oh my gosh.
And then the ever entertaining has blessed us before, but first time on our new format. Yes.
Okay, I need you both to
yes.
come in when you talk.
Mr. Robert
Mata.
Mr. Robert Mata, costume designer for film and television, and owner of Robert Mata Designs. Yes. And your website is robertmatadesigns.com.
Yes.
La 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 la.
And I am feeling very privileged today, because I have on a Robert Mata Design
jacket.
Don't I? Jacket?
No, it's not a Robert Mata Designs, is that? No, it's not.
Sorry.
It's just a Robert Mata owned jacket.
Robert Mata had this on earlier today, but I messed up and wore green shirt.
Yes,
so
of all things, our own host did not follow the rules.
I know. I'm crazy. Sorry. So
she had to she disregarded the memo that we sent to our guests.
Yes.
Not to wear green. And so Robert Mata was gracious enough to let her borrow his jacket.
So
such a gentleman.
Yes.
That's right.
But before we get to our wonderful guests, we do want to talk about some of the hot topics as well. How was your weekend?
Burning hot topics. It was good. Boys had basketball games. They did not win their championship, but they played very hard. Out there in your neck of the woods, actually, we were at the Thousand Oaks. I forgot what it's called. Sorry, you're not sponsoring us. So, anyways, it's a beautiful, a beautiful sports center out in Thousand Oaks.
Oh, okay.
And they've got like volleyball there. They've got several basketball courts, and so there was a tournament over the weekend. And
for
both
boys.
Just Dominic was playing.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it was a very long weekend. I was very tired. But it was sports related. Mm-hmm. So of course, we were on social media and stuff, and with everything that was happening in the sports world this weekend, it was kind of fitting that we were around a bunch of athletes and
so how
sportsmen.
Was that handled? Did the kids?
No one was talking about it. Everyone at the tournaments gets very involved with the children and the tournaments.
But do they do the national anthem with the kids?
No, they don't. They don't sing the national anthem because there's games going constantly. There was like 5 or 6 courts, I think, with games going on. So no one pauses and takes the time, and no one was really talking about it, which I was kind of like, should I start the conversation? Mm-hmm. No, people don't want to hear that. But anyways,
don't start it.
But it made me think a lot. I had a lot of time to think and reflect about these children who are in sports, who are playing, and we're teaching them good sportsmanship, and we're wanting to, make sure that this is part of their learning process. And then for the president of the United States to come out and say what he did on Friday about an athlete,
athletes.
Yes. I think he was talking about one in particular.
No, I think he was talking.
Anybody that does it.
He focused on the act of one, but now it's
everybody. Yeah. And so I just thought, what does the future look like for these young athletes right now that are playing on the basketball court? And if some of them go on to being professional people in the sport, how is this? And just all the stuff that's just on social media and people that are writing articles and saying, just shut up and do your job. Your job is to entertain us. And I'm just like,
this is my
huge problem.
My observation. It's always encouraged that when we want to speak or protest or just have a difference of opinion, you do it. They always say do it not peaceably, but where it's not
a peaceful protest.
A peaceful protest,
right?
Which I think is what that young man was doing since last year.
Yeah.
So that it's a big deal now is kind of it's a little interesting. But so he has been peacefully protesting. Mm-hmm. What has been going on with the police brutality and whatever else.
Exactly.
So all of a sudden now it's turning into a non-peaceful protest because of the reaction of people in social media and how they've been, on Facebook, Twitter. It's just now it's becoming something of a volatile situation where people are cursing at athletes, and now athletes are not coming out on the field. And so the point I'm trying to make is, so we as a country want to say, okay, you want to protest, just do it peacefully. Don't fight, don't argue, don't cause a ruckus. And that's what he was doing. And now all of a sudden,
and the president of the United States is the one that caused the
ruckus. The ruckus, which this is what I've said over and over again. If you voted for the president, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. Mm-hmm. I've never questioned. I've in my lifetime I've voted on both sides of the aisle. Yeah. So that's not even the point here. It's not that it's a Republican. It's the character of the man, and I always go back to that. If he would just bring it back, just bring it back a little bit, sir. Just bring back your rhetoric, bring back the language, so that we can actually come together.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to see that.
And I struggle with that. Like, sir, you don't even try. Who curses? What president have we ever had in the history of our country that calls people's
son of a bitches? Yeah, we can just. Well, I'm gonna say it.
Who does that? That
incite.
That language incites a reaction. If you get called out of your name, you're gonna go, what? You just call what? So of course people are gonna get worked up and riled up.
And his mother did. I loved that. Did you see what
I didn't read the article.
Colin Kaepernick's mother clapped back. I said, clap.
Yeah,
yes,
well, that's her son, and I understand that
Call
she
my
has
son
the
a son
right
of a
to
bitch.
do
She was
that.
like, this is one proud bitch right here. And I said, you know what? You have to, because she's like, this is my son. You want to call him or something? Then you're calling me. Yeah, that's right. What? I stand with her. I put that on Facebook. I stand with you, Mrs. Kaepernick.
But I'm just concerned at how far this rhetoric is going to go. Like now we're a country that is reactionary. We're not being proactive. We're reacting.
People are trying to be divisive. because of they're taking it to a whole other level with the national anthem and the flag, and they're saying you're being disrespectful.
So here's my concern. So this morning I was reading online that there are in the bylaws of the NFL where they're supposed to actually, if you're going to be on the field, you're supposed to stand and respect the flag, and if you don't, then there's disciplinary action that's supposed to be taken by the NFL. So here's my question. If that, and someone even said, why hasn't this been enforced last year? Why all of a sudden it's this explosive situation? If this gentleman was already breaking the rules, why didn't his coach or the general manager or somebody say,
because
hey?
I think it's a very slippery slope. And when you say, is it a rule, is it not? And I don't know if we want the law to speak to this or not, but I think there are certain religions who don't believe in saluting the flag or standing for the anthem. And so I believe if you sit there and say, under my beliefs do not allow me to stand for this, to stand for the flag, to stand for the national anthem, that's then infringing on someone's right and their beliefs. So you cannot enforce that. Now, I think maybe that was put into their bylaws as if you're just not doing it. You have nothing else better to do. You're going to stand there on your phone and you're not going to be at attention, or you're going to sit down. I'm assuming, or I'm hoping that that's what that law is, because you can't make someone do something that they don't necessarily believe in.
Right.
So at that point, Colin Kaepernick could then say, I no longer now believe in the national anthem or standing for the flag. That is his belief. So if this is his belief system.
This is my opinion. If you are in a corporation and you signed a contract that has a moral clause or has something that is in there that says, hey, if you break this, you can get fired, or you can be disciplined, or that happens in most industries. I know that happens in the entertainment industry. There's a clause that you sign and you agree to. So this exists for the NFL, and I'm sure it exists for all the other sports, right? So when he signed it, he could have said, if it was a religious issue, well, I don't believe, I'm not at that point. Now he's trying to exercise his First Amendment right. I get that. But still, there is a law for the NFL.
But his beliefs now have changed. So if he went in and had a conversation with them.
So the NFL has to address that.
Well, yeah, the NFL can then say, okay, well, your belief system has changed, so we are okay with you doing this, or not okay. And they have been okay with him doing it for the last year.
His belief system changed based on a social issue. It
doesn't matter why it changed.
Yeah, but still, I
can turn around and say I believe in a different religion, and he doesn't have to justify why his belief changed.
Yeah, no, he has to, because he signed a binding contract. Yes, Felicia, he signed a contract.
But it could cost him his job. But that doesn't mean that he has to sit there and justify his.
No, but the NFL has the right to say we can no longer employ you and we can no longer keep you.
They can, but then you want to get into, then you risk a civil suit because this person has then changed his belief. This is what I believe in. So if I became Jehovah's Witness yesterday and became baptized, and they tell me I can't do this, and you want to turn in and fire me,
but that's a religious. That's a religious.
But it's still a belief. It's still a belief.
No, I see.
I don't know. I think that's where it gets all technical.
Yeah.
We need to call the ACLU.
I know, the ACLU. I think the NFL should have addressed this back in the day. I think that they've allowed this.
But then the NFL came out in support of it.
I know, because now the president has generalized the whole experience. He he made it about the whole NFL. He called out the NFL. So of course the NFL has to sit up and go, wait, and say something.
And I appreciated their support.
But at the same time, there was something in their clause that said da, and they didn't address it. It's a money issue.
Well, it's all going to be a money issue for everybody.
It's all about the.
But the real issue is the social injustice, and we all need to bring it back down, because people want to split hairs about contracts. They want to split hairs about veterans fighting for it, and this is just a job. But the bigger issue is that we have problems in this country,
right,
and we want to bicker about whether it's disrespectful for the flag. Listen, the old Navy T-shirts that you wear with the flag on it, that's disrespectful. That's in the flag code. I read the flag code.
Do I have a flag T-shirt?
And if you're at 4th of July and you go buy napkins with a flag on it, that's disrespecting the flag. That's the flag code. So So if all these people right now that are up in arms about, oh my God, they're being disrespectful because they're not standing for the anthem, they're not standing for the flag, they're disrespecting the flag. No, you do not get to stand up and make a big deal about it, because you're not making a big deal about when people, wear bikini flags.
Okay, but this is the point. So this is what's happening. These men are like, oh, let these women go at it. But this is what's happening, is that they're losing the focus. What has happened in this country is that we're arguing and we're debating whether they should stand or kneel or lay down or roll over. Right. We're missing the point of why it started, right? Because this is, now the attention has come completely off the social injustices to, he didn't kneel, he didn't stand, he didn't roll over.
I'm a veteran. I'm not a veteran. Yeah. My veteran grandfather likes it. They agree with it, don't agree with it.
But people need to wake up.
It's a job. You're entitled. But then this is where you see everyone's nastiness and messiness coming out. Because if you can't stick to the facts and you can't stick to the topics and you start name calling people and you're just an entertainer, just get out there and dance and, we got a phone call.
Well, that's because the president.
We got a phone call.
Hello.
Hi, caller. Welcome to Table for Five. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi.
Good morning.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh,
can you hear us?
We can hear you.
Good morning. This is Sheila.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Sheila.
Where are you calling from this morning?
I'm going to turn this down so I can hear you better.
Okay.
I'm calling from the Santa Clarita Valley.
Oh, fantastic. Well, welcome. Welcome to our show. Did you have something to say about this topic? Are you listening in? Are you riled up, Sheila?
I certainly do. I'm a little lost. Let me try and work through this. I think that we have lost sight of the issue, which the issue is the social injustice. That's why he was kneeling. And now we're talking about folks not standing, not saluting the flag. But I think it is a smokescreen, because basically what we're trying to say is there's a lot of injustice going on, and folks don't recognize that. So now we're kneeling, and everyone's worried about us kneeling, but they're not dealing with the fact that we're kneeling because we haven't been respected. We've been disrespected, and no one's giving us our lives the credit that we deserve. So everyone wants to talk about, we've been disrespectful. But look, we've been disrespected for hundreds of years. And this is the only time people actually recognize where we're coming from. So I just feel it's important that they do what they're doing.
Go back to the point. The point of it all.
Yeah. And I think, and I just want to say, you're right. Yeah. We've lost why they're doing that. I think, and that's the smoke screen. And I think that, unfortunately, the president perpetuated that. And so we're not having the real conversation.
Right.
And that, and everybody on social media should go back to the real conversation and stop having this debate about, okay, they knelt, they didn't kneel, that he stood, he raised his hand, or whatever else. It's just getting ridiculous at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you
for
calling in. Oh, go ahead.
And one more thing, the NFL thing, I was listening about that yesterday. They said it's at the team's discretion. So they do have the right, and the team does. I guess the team can say you have to or you don't have to, but it's up to their discretion. It seems like most of the teams have been okay with it, except the Cowboys right now. So
the Cowboys right on under the bus.
Necessarily where they have to do it, because if you don't believe in it,
right,
or if you don't support, whatever it is, you can't make people do just anything.
Right.
I mean, like the Jehovah's Witnesses, like you said earlier. So that's just my little 2 cents.
Thank you for
that
Sheila.
2 cents. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, so we could talk about this for the next hour, but I do. I want to turn the page really quickly, because also there has been a lot of information going on about Puerto Rico.
Yes,
and I wanted to. This will be on our website, voicesforpuertorico.com. They're raising awareness funds, and they're going to start a collection. We will have guests on in the next 2 weeks to talk about what's going on and where the concert's being held. Right now, as we speak, I'm getting more information, but Puerto Rico is in a humanitarian crisis.
Emergency, devastation. It's a devastated island at this point.
And if you all remember, when we got back from our little vacation, summer break, we had just come back from Puerto Rico vacationing, and how excited we were about just the paradise that we were on for 8 days. And the idea that no longer exists really blows my mind. I've spoken to friends. There's no water, there's no power, there's people are siphoning gas out of cars. I mean, it's just unbelievable, the chaos that's there right now. And I know that the government and the USA is trying to stabilize the island right
yeah.
now before they could start really receiving all the stuff that people want to send.
Right.
But just keep Puerto Rico in your prayers. Go to voicesforpuertorico.com. Again, we'll put it on our fan page. We'll have it on our website. To any amount, $1 makes a difference at this point. $1.
Yes.
So if you
with this organization, you'll be able to see what exactly is happening. They're going to keep you updated as to where your money is going. Because I know a lot of times people are wary. Do I donate to this organization?
Yeah.
What do I do? Like, I feel like I just want to order something and send it to someone specific. But at this point, you can't even really do that because the airports are closed. And you were saying earlier that some people have just been sitting there waiting at the airport for it to open back up. Right now, the airport is only receiving military personnel and like government stuff that's coming in. And the government is there. I think FEMA is on the ground there now. But there's so many people. There's 3.5 million people on that island, and you figure that's a lot of people just for like an army reserve and just the little portion of people that you have people search and rescuing, but you have people who aren't necessarily needing rescue, but they're running out of water. They're running out of gas.
Yes. So the ports have been open now, and so now they're coming through there to bring resources to the island. So I know Mexico also is under a tremendous recovery effort, and there's a lot of awareness being brought to that. But on my behalf, through my friends, with voicesforpuertorico.com, they have a list of organizations that they will be working with, and you will know exactly who you're sending your money to. And also they're doing mass collection, because the money's great and you can use the money to get stuff, but they need a lot of batteries. Like, there's real physical things that the island needs now. So in the next week, there'll be we'll have information on our website and do a campaign email about that, of where you can go and donate, because people like to donate stuff versus give money, which is great too. So we'll have information on that. So just keep Mexico, Puerto Rico in your prayers and your thoughts, and
the mainland of America here.
Texas. And Texas, we
and
saw
Florida.
something, was it 60 Minutes?
60 Minutes last night.
Just the devastation in Houston, Houston, right, is unbelievable. Like, you see the stuff and you're going, these people lived well. And it's not like the poverty in Houston, it's the people, they're everything is gone.
Water has come up like waist high.
6 foot
in some places.
In some homes.
Wow.
This guy was 6'2", and he said, this is where my water line was. So there's a lot, the world is in a lot of chaos right now, and so we need a lot of prayers and good thoughts and just support. Just, care for your brother. I think we're in a season where we really, regardless of our politics and our feelings, and when we need to care for each other, care for your neighbor, care for the kid, because there's a lot of hurting people out there. So
and go beyond yourself a little bit. Just understand that the world is a little bit bigger than just you yourself in your home and your just immediate family. And I'm not saying you got to go save the world, but we need to be aware of everything that's going on around us and the people around us and how we affect people around us with our words and our actions.
And kids are watching our future. They're watching us.
They're
watching us, and we have to set the example of how we're going to communicate.
And tread very lightly, parents, on your disdain that you have for
social media.
Things.
Be responsible. People need to be responsible on social media.
Well, no, I want to keep seeing people's asses on social media. Show me your ass.
No, I don't want to see nobody's butts on social media.
So that I know, what's coming at me. I know what's coming at me. I know who you are. I see you.
Lord.
I see you.
Okay, we're gonna put a button in that, because thank you, Jacqueline, for your prayers. Vivian, Steve Ferry's getting modified. Okay, here we go. So we want thank you everybody on Facebook Live for checking in. We've been honoring Hispanic Heritage Month, which has been so great the past couple of weeks, if you've been following and watching. And I found this information on HispanicHeritageMonth.gov if you want to know more about Hispanic Heritage Month. But this is what they said: Americans observe the history and contribution culture of American citizens whose ancestors come from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, Central, and South America.
I love that.
The observation started in 1968 as a week under President Johnson and was expanded by President Reagan to cover a 30-day period. So we started with Noel Santos from the Bronx, which was fantastic. And then last week we had Mike Bernard, who is Latino. and Jeanette Ortega. And then this week, we decided to kind of change it up a little bit and have men at our table to talk about their success as being Latino men in their respective fields. As a disclaimer, this man right here is married to this woman right here. We live together. We have babies together.
Probably deserves an applause for that. I think he might deserve an applause.
So yes, Annette Mata is married to Robert Mata. We are related in that way. So I asked my husband to join us this morning and talk about how his experience has been in this field of fashion, film, television. And Mr. Field-Evy Zavala is a criminal defense and personal injury attorney, and his success in that. So I want to thank you both for joining us and putting up with our shenanigans for the first 20, 30 minutes of the show.
You deserve an applause
for putting up
writing
with us.
out that little conversation.
That was like a hurricane for both of them. They were like, there's like a storm up in here.
It was just going back and forth.
It was a tennis match.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But listen, that's how we do.
I know.
I mean, people are always so shocked, and I'm like, that's how we do. But anyways, yes. I want to say a quick shout out. So season finale of
Ballers. Robert Mata is the costume designer for Ballers on HBO.
Such a great show. And
did you enjoy? I was kind of like, what happened?
I know. I'm like, why would you end it like this? And then I gotta wait a very long time for the next one, for the next season. So I'm a little like, really? We're gonna do this? Okay. But it was great. It was a great season. I went by very fast. Mr. Dwayne Johnson looked amazing.
Yay.
Thanks.
Well done, Robert Mata.
Thank you.
Yes. So fantastic.
So I'm going to jump in because you can interview Robert because I about know everything about him. Okay. Unless he pulls up something out of a hat and I get surprised right now.
I got you. My attorney here told me to keep quiet.
I know. But Evie, you are a USC graduate, and then you are a graduate of Loyola Law School. Correct. I didn't know that. That's so great. I'm so impressed. You are a smart man. Okay, so we were talking about it off the air. Is like when at what point in your young life did you decide I want to be an attorney?
Yeah.
This is where the tables turn because I never wanted to be an attorney.
Oh.
That was never in my mind. It was never a vision. It was never a dream.
Oh.
So doors have been open since high school. I mentioned that I graduated from Hoover High School.
Where'd you go to high school? Okay.
In Glendale. So my senior year, my counselor calls me out of class. I thought I was in trouble. I know I didn't do anything, so I show up, and she's like, Evie, we've looked at your grades, and we filled out your college application.
Oh.
You just need to sign it, and we sent it in.
No.
So I get accepted to Cal State LA.
Okay.
I'm on the dean's list a couple of years, and then my psychology professor says, Evie, you don't belong at Cal State LA. You belong at USC. And I said, there's no way I can do it. He goes, I'm the dean. Well, I'm the chair of the psychology program at USC. So I sent my application in. I get accepted to USC.
Fantastic.
I do well. Towards the end of my tenure there at USC, in another psychology class, it's the first day of class, I'm sitting in front, like a nerd that I am. And
it's
a gentleman,
shout out to
I love it. I love it.
A gentleman steps up to me and kicks me on the foot. Older gentleman around his 70s, and I look at him like, what's going on?
Yeah.
He gets to the front of the classroom, he turns around, he goes, I want to see you in office hours. So he was a professor.
Okay.
I show up to office hours, and he says, I'm going to give you 2 weeks to make a decision. You're either going to get a PhD in psychology, you're going to go to medical school, or you're going to go to law school.
Oh my
wow.
God.
He says, I don't want a response. So I came back 2 weeks later, he hands me the LSAT. I do well on the law school admission test.
Wow.
So basically, a mentor.
Correct.
Because that was in my notes. A mentor saw potential in you and said, "This kid has got there's potential in him to really be successful in life in this field or in this field," and you just went with it. Like you didn't go, "No, I don't want to do that. I want to play."
The doors were opened, and I just ran right through.
That's incredible.
So why law? Why like law as opposed to medicine as opposed to psychology?
Probably because of the amount of schooling.
So psychology would have been 6 years.
Okay.
Medical school was 8.
Okay.
Law was 3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you were like, let's do this.
Yeah, I figured that. Wow. So what kind of law? Okay. So when did you decide I want to be a criminal defense attorney? Because that's a little.
That's very.
That's a lot. That's deep.
I wrote a paper in law school saying that I would never do it.
Really?
And again, 2 years into my practice, I was representing hospitals and insurance companies. And a friend of mine from law school said, "Can you do me a favor and appear on a criminal case for me?" I'm in trial right now and I can't make it. So I show up to criminal court, do what she asked me to do. That afternoon, I get a phone call from her bosses saying that the judge that I had appeared before called him and said, whatever that young kid you sent in today, you need to hire him.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. Evie.
Wow.
What?
The stars were just shining
Yes.
upon Evie.
That is amazing.
And
I
doors
love
just opened up
that.
to working for a federal judge, and now
Now, did that excite you? Like, did you have a good time?
Yeah,
I
did
love
like
it. Criminal practice
so
is
you-
completely
you-
different than civil.
oh, okay.
And it's all about the way I explain it's all about relationships. When I'm in court, it's not so much
Interesting.
this adversarial process of going in on how much I know or what I can do to you when we're in front of a trial
Right.
or a jury. It's a matter of how are you, how's your family, how are your kids doing,
Wow.
and then that gains favor within whatever prosecutorial
Wow.
agency you're working with.
Interesting.
That is very interesting. Is
Yeah.
that your approach, or is that the approach that they suggest so that you gain trust?
That was my approach.
Oh,
That's what you learned.
Yes, early on.
So you liked criminal, like you just said, okay, this is what I like versus personal injury.
Yes.
You found it more interesting.
Well, initially, because I was doing a lot of contract work at the beginning.
Okay.
So now that I'm doing personal injury, it's helping out
Wow.
normal people, regular people that are just.
Now, do you find
exciting.
in your field that there are a lot of Latino men, young men coming up, or they're in that, you see that you can mentor them and go, okay, this is, have you seen that?
What I've seen is, I would say over the past 5 to 10 years, I do see the Latino men and women are
Good.
coming up strong now.
Good.
I do
Good.
see a lot of young Latino attorneys up there and just running the game.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's
So when I was
awesome.
brought up and when I came into it about 15 years ago, it was practicing with a lot of Jewish and a lot of American, white men.
Caucasian.
Caucasian. But yet for me, it was those people that opened the doors for me.
Right.
And
So they
how were
gave you a seat.
I was
at
going to
the
say, well,
table,
how
yeah.
were you received? Do you feel like you hit any walls or got any resistance?
No
or
resistance at this point.
Okay.
It's always been open doors. And I always
Wow.
thank God for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
So
I-
you had favor going in, like you. It wasn't about you being a, you know, they were. It wasn't a, what do you call it, token Latino sitting at the table.
Correct.
They saw you as an equal.
As an equal.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And they
Well,
brought-
do you think now that there's going to be more people coming in? Do you think it's going to be easier or harder? Because now they're like, okay, whoa, we got a lot of brown people up in here. Do you see that might be happening?
No,
or?
I just see that the demographics in the country are changing as well.
Yeah.
So we're stepping into our place.
Yeah, yeah.
And it isn't about they're stepping
Very
into
good.
our territory. This is becoming
Right.
like the door that has
Right.
been opened for us.
Good. So now they're just pulling up an extra chair.
Absolutely.
At the
Yeah,
table
that's
instead
awesome.
of replacing someone at the
a
table.
couple of
and I
extra
think
chairs.
people need
That's
to understand,
awesome.
and they need to understand that it's not about exclusivity.
Yeah.
It's about inclusion. So
Correct.
we're not trying to take away chairs at the table. You just need to get a bigger table,
That's right.
and everybody should have a seat, or as many people that qualify should have a seat.
And the great thing is that the table is growing.
That's
Very
awesome.
good.
That's
So it's-
fantastic. I love that. I mean, in every field of expertise, we need somebody. You know, we need, everybody needs. Not everybody is going to be a lawyer. Not everybody's going to be a
Right.
doctor. But I love that those things that seem unreachable or unattainable because there's so much academia involved that kids are not getting, you know, like going, oh, I don't want to do that, or that's too much
Yeah.
work, or, you know, like there are students and there are young people saying, yeah, I want to be an
Yeah.
attorney. I want to
Well,
be
it's-
invested in this.
And it's encouraging too that he said that he was just someone just noticed him.
Yes.
He wasn't going after it. So that gives me promise and hope for, say, a child that does want it. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
you were just kind of there and they came to you, but
Yeah.
they're not going to come to everybody.
Right,
So
right.
let's kind of throw that out there. Like if you want something, go for it,
Yes.
because the opportunities, I think is what you're saying. It could be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The doors will open up for you.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. Shout out to
Everyone that
mentors.
that
Yes.
helped you along the way, or that look at children and
Yeah.
say, look at potential and see.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, one other question. Do you mentor? Do you have interns that you bring into your law firm and say, okay, have you had that opportunity yet?
No interns into my law firm, but I do get together with either other young attorneys or just in church in general. I do see that it's, as doors were opened up for me, I take it as very important for me
Sure.
to turn around and open doors for others.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So my floor, my ceiling is other people's floor. That's the
Yeah.
way we put it.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
fantastic.
I love that.
I bring you up to
I
the
know.
table.
We're going to write that down. Wow, honey, you better come up with something. Come
Yeah.
up. Come up with
He
something.
already did.
Yeah, so let's switch gears a little bit and talk to Mr. Mata.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we already have gotten some information, like we know you at the table. Some of our audience might know you already from your success that you've had working with various celebrities on their movies and styling. How, though, has your heritage played a part in your work environment and you getting to where you've gotten to today?
I think the one thing that my heritage has really kind of, I guess where it all started from was just hard work. Not being lazy. Growing up, I'd see my uncles and my mom and my aunts just getting up at the crack of dawn, and it wasn't sometimes the physical labor of how we see some of our some of the Latinos now, where they have to get up to go work in the farms. They're up at the crack of the dawn. They have their kids there with them also. But I think at a young age, it was instilled in me. It was just a lot of hard work. You have to put in the work to be successful.
Right.
And I think that's one thing that was instilled in me at a young age was, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty.
Right.
I know people have made fun like, geez, you don't do any hard work. It's like, I don't do it now, but I did it before. I put in that hard work.
I would say you work hard.
Yeah, I would say you work hard. But I want to go back to what she asked was in your work, in your style, in your design, has your heritage played a part in that?
I don't
Influenced it.
influence it. I don't think it.
Because I kind of want to say you add a lot of color, you add a lot of pattern, you add a lot of things to your aesthetic.
That's
it's
I'm
not.
flamboyant.
So let me ask you another question since you're struggling with that one.
Okay. That's another question.
Do you find in your field of fashion, your Latino male, are there a lot of Latino young males or males in your industry? And why did you go there?
Yeah.
Well, fashion has always been a part of my family.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
From my
Your
aunts.
Right. Okay.
They,
how did you get there?
it was kind of like, geez, okay. I ran across a gentleman that used to own a costume house, and he told me if I ever needed a job to come see him. And I went and saw him, and he gave me the opportunity. He was like, you can have a career in this industry.
Right.
Working at this costume house.
And had you known that before?
No, I
Did
never
you like
knew about
fashion?
it. Huh?
Did you like
I've
fashion?
always liked fashion. I've always liked clothes. I remember from when I was a kid, my mom, she would always like, Easter Sunday's coming up. We got to make you a new suit, mijo. So it was always, she was
So
always.
your mom sewed? Your mom?
My mom sewed. It was.
made clothes.
My
Yeah,
mom made
everybody in
clothes.
his family sewed.
Okay.
All my aunts, everybody sewed.
And did
Everybody.
they do it just for the family, or did they do it?
They had a
They had a
manufacturing
business.
company.
Yeah.
Oh, they
business.
did.
Mhm.
Okay.
It was dresses,
Wedding
wedding
dresses.
dresses.
So you grew up around
I grew up around.
clothes making.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was that was part of my growing up was
Okay.
seeing that. And I guess that was what was influenced was like my wife said, the colors, the bold colors. Right? And I've always liked colors, just sometimes a little too crazy colors.
Mix
People
it
always
up. That's
question,
good.
Yeah.
But being bold. Just I guess that's part of our heritage too. Is
Yeah.
just being colorful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you got in this industry of fashion, and because you started as a costumer, and then you went into costume design, and now you have a fashion line, did anybody like criticize you or say, oh, why are you going to get into fashion? Or as a male Hispanic, because Latino men are tough and rough, and
That's the stereotype.
That's the
that-
stereotype,
yeah.
and you being in fashion is kind of like light in the loafers type of thing.
No, I mean nobody ever expressed that. No.
No.
not-
Did you
not at
feel
all.
that, and from your
From my peers?
Yeah.
No, not at all. They were always like, great job. Yeah, you
Yeah.
deserve it. Your hard work is paid off.
Right.
A lot of folks that had given me, like the mentors as well. It's like, I saw it in you. I always knew you could do it. So I don't think anybody ever criticized me or, made fun of me in any way. Not at all.
And do you feel like it was kind of like with Evie that people came to you and saw your talent?
Completely.
Or did you say, I'm going to strive to do this? I'm here and I want to go here and I'm just going to go get it done. Or was it a mixture of both?
I think it was kind of a mixture of both. There was, like Evie said, there was mentors that said, you know what, I'm going to take you out. You need to go out and start doing your own shows. So I went out. He gave me the opportunity, got me a few shows, and then from there, I just kind of like people just noticed the hard work and the talent, and they just kept bringing me, kept taking me, and people were like, you need to start doing this. Just keep moving up, and like Evie said, fortunately, you got to be thankful. You got to thank God or whoever, your higher power that you believe in. You just gotta have that positive. It's like, okay, you know what? This is where I need to be, and this is what I'm gonna do.
But you know what I find interesting in both stories is mentors were key.
Yes,
because you were in one of your little things you did for HBO. You said you wanted to be a fireman. So and you didn't want to be an attorney. So both guests stumbled upon their destiny by someone seeing
something in them and pulling them and saying, I think fantastic. This would be something that and you were both receptive to it.
Right.
You were open to it. That was the question we didn't ask you. What was there something that you saw as a young boy in high school or in middle school that you thought how your life was going to be? Like, did you think that your life was going to be like this, like how it is today?
Not at all.
What did you think? What was your dream? What was
high school, it was either going to be go to the military.
Wow.
Or ITT Tech was big back then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you were going to go into like the technical field.
Correct.
Wow.
And then just mentors open up doors to, and this is unfolding. Like there's still different levels that are coming.
Sure.
That I have no idea. So it's just a matter of just waking up, thanking God, and saying yes.
And being open.
Let's go.
Being open and working hard. And I think the other kind of common thread in both stories is the hard work. Like everyone is saying, you just go in, you show up, and you work hard. Yes. And yes, it seems like you do get noticed. You will get noticed and doors will open. That's not necessarily always the case, but I think hard work, we know, definitely pays off. And if there is a goal that you have, you work hard at it, and then hopefully you can obtain that goal.
Yeah.
Also.
Now, when did you decide you wanted to do fashion? Because you were doing film, television, design, and then the past year you said, oh no, it has been more than that. I'm just like,
people have always just said, when are you going to come up with your own line?
Yeah.
And it was just finally, it was like, my wife just said, you need to do it. Because it was,
true.
Like there's always the right time to do it.
Right.
And this was the right time to do it. And it was the perfect timing. Everything has its timing.
Right.
And it was this point. It was this time, and now, and we did it. It's been great. And God willing, we'll just keep going.
So you have a new tie collection, but you can find it on robertmatadesigns.com for the fall winter collection. Yes. But I wanted to ask you something about your clients, and you can decide whether you want to ask this off. I didn't check with him before, so this is really a real question.
We are flying off the seat of our pants,
guys.
I
don't want to discuss it. How is it different? You've designed and styled a lot of celebrities, and how is it different styling, let's say, a Will Smith versus a Dwayne Johnson aesthetically? How has that been? Because they're
two different bodies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean you have Will, who was 6'2", tall and lean, and where you have Dwayne, who's 6'5", and he has his chest is 50-inch chest, but he's got a 37-inch waist.
Wow.
So you have to be able to compensate for all that. You can't. Sometimes you can find stuff off the rack for him when you're styling him for different events. But a lot of times you have to.
But I want to ask, because both you go really edgy with Dwayne Johnson. Like you really push the envelope with him. Is he always receptive to that?
Yeah. We're able to collaborate a lot.
Okay.
We'll sit down before an event or before something comes up, and we'll say, which way do we want to go? And we'll say, we try and look at who's going to be there, what the event is. And
the overall theme.
Yeah, that kind of dictates where we're going to go with it.
Right. So is his aesthetic different from like when you design for ballers and he's in a salmon suit, right? Like that's so extreme. And then let's say he's doing a photo shoot, or do you change the aesthetic on that, or would he wear a salmon suit out?
It depends on what the photo shoot is.
But you don't feel like you push the envelope a little bit more on ballers than you do in real life?
Well, I think when we were first developing the character on Ballers, yeah, definitely. We pushed the envelope.
Yeah.
I think it was a couple times that I had explained is like, you know, we were just starting out in Miami, so we wanted to be loud. We wanted to be,
bring
we were developing
attention.
that character,
Yes.
yeah, we really wanted to, you know, when he walked into a room, he's like, I want to be noticed.
Right.
You know, so we were establishing that character, and that character was, you know, the Miami look, the Miami, you know, when the clubs were great. We wanted to bring that whole showmanship back to, you know, the Baller show. And I think we've started, we were able to do that. People noticed him when we put him on TV, you know, when that character first aired on TV. It was a character I don't think that anybody had seen in quite a while.
Yeah.
You know, just how loud the suits were. And it wasn't your typical lawyer show where everything was dark. And sorry about that. But where it was, you know, dark suits, black suits, gray suits, navy suits.
Right.
It was
You
like,
got on a nice navy suit today.
I know. And look, he had a little spot.
My designer.
I know he's right. Little splash of color. Very cool.
yeah, so we were able to, you know, that's what we wanted to do with that character. When we first established him, we wanted to make sure that people noticed him. That was one thing he said. He goes, when I walk into a room on the show, is I want people to notice me that Spencer Strasser, the character name, has entered the building.
Yes.
And I think that's what we've done.
That.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: has that experience with him? Do you feel like that has personally opened up his, I guess, idea and expanded his mind at all? Like to where maybe he wouldn't have been he would have been hesitant to wear some of this stuff. Now he's like more open because you guys took those risks and stuff on the show. Like in his personal, like, I guess the better question is, has he grown personally in fashion?
His fashion sense.
Yes.
He was always
expanded his
very,
mind.
he was always very conscious of fashion. He always knew what he
Or
he
bolder.
has a very focused mind. No, not at all. Because when you look at it, when you look at the
Well,
character
I
that
would,
he was,
but I want to say in past his fashion style has evolved. That's what she's saying.
but so has he though. He has evolved.
Okay.
So
You
go
know,
ahead. Yeah.
I mean, he has evolved. But I mean, as far as him taking a chance, no. When you looked at the character of, you know, the wrestler that he was, how that character has evolved. Some of his early looks were like, wow, really? So he's not afraid to try anything.
Okay.
He will definitely try it. It depends on what he's going for.
Gotcha. Okay.
How would you say it? The reaction.
Okay.
Depends on the reaction, what reaction he's looking for. That's what kind of dictates, you know, let me tell you, Dwayne is smart. He knows, you know, he knows what the people want.
Yeah. Yes,
You know,
he
he's very
does.
connected. He's connected
he is.
with his fan base. He loves his fan base. And I think that has, you know, a lot to do with it. He knows what they want to see, and he definitely gives it to them. He's a showman. He
Fantastic.
really is.
Fantastic. Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. But it was just interesting to find out whether or not, like, the chances that you guys had taken on Ballers, if that I'm sure he would wear that if the time called for it out in public, but I didn't know if he was a little bit more reserved before then,
In his personal
or
attire.
if he was like, yeah, let's do it. But you're right. I mean, looking back on it, he's been always very in control, and well, some of them except for the little fanny pack thing that was a little.
I know, but it's taken a whole little movement.
It's all
Let me
following
tell you, how many designers now have fanny packs?
I know.
So it actually took a little life of itself.
But that was like,
Uh,
whew.
yes, but that
did it,
I know but he didn't even know back then he was making a statement. And now you could get a fanny pack for $1,000, leather Gucci studded. You know, like what? Just because he wore it like in 1980 something.
Oh, Lord,
Crazy.
back in the
So
80s.
what is next for Robert Mata Designs?
Well,
And I really don't know the answer to this question.
She really wants to
We're
know.
gonna have a business meeting right now. What's next, honey?
we're trying to develop a shirt line. That's where we want to go. Is we want to be able to make my favorite shirts accessible to everybody. So that's what we're working on right now, and hopefully, God willing, we'll be able to have, you know, our suits will be a lot more accessible as well.
Yeah.
Because right now you can explain to the people exactly what it is that you do, because
How you can get a
lot
Robert
going
Mata
on.
design.
Yeah.
Well, everything right now for Robert Mata Designs is all custom made.
Except the ties
Except the
are
ties.
available.
Yes, everything, shirts and suits, they're all custom made, individually made. Take your measurements, we make it for you. But what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to have stuff that you can just get off the rack, where, you know, if you go on the website.
And affordable.
Yeah, and affordable.
But
That's
don't
the
be
most
afraid
important
of it.
thing.
But don't be
Yeah.
afraid of it, people. I mean, because
Yeah.
I would say you, as a man, young man, older man, whatever, I feel like you need at least 1 to 2 good suits.
Yeah.
And I think it's an investment, unless you're someone that fluctuates, up and down
size.
with your weight and size. I would say do an investment. I used to joke with my husband. I'm gonna throw you under the bus here for a little bit, honey.
Sorry, Mark.
He had what we would call a holiday outfit. Because he never dressed up. He
Right.
didn't, that just wasn't part of his style. But I was like, now that we're getting older and we have jobs, because we met when we were very young, like when we didn't have careers, and we were broke. I was like, you need to have something that you look nice in. And he had one nice pair of pants, one nice pair of shoes, one tie, and one shirt. Actually, we switched to 2 ties because it was like a funeral tie or a serious tie and a holiday tie.
I'm sure there's a lot of people like that because it's
Yes.
very rare people dress up these days.
Yes.
It's very, unless your job requires it.
Right.
For the most part in California, everybody's in jeans and shirts. I
Right.
mean, it's not.
very casual
It's
now.
very casual.
But speaking to that, I think that it's very important for us to speak to our young men about dressing up
Yeah.
and dressing nice, because no matter what field you go into, you're at some point in your life going to have an interview. You're going to have a funeral to go to. You're
Yeah.
going to have
A
a
wedding.
holiday, a wedding, something to.
Yeah.
So even though your custom suits might be, whatever, to me it's an investment.
Yeah.
And if you're a young person and you're, someone who wants to give a young person a gift, give them the gift of
A suit,
fashion
yeah.
or a suit. That's
That'd
what
be
I
great.
think.
I know you've said it before on the show that if you can't afford a Robert Mata design suit, if you get a suit, get it tailored to your
Yes.
body.
Yes.
Most you could get, a local dry cleaner will do it, or if you go to Nordstrom's, shout out to Nordstrom's, they will do it. So, it doesn't have to be that you have to spend thousands of dollars, but you can get a suit, with reasonably priced, get it fitted to your size, your body, and you really look put together.
Yes.
No one has to know that, it was $99.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
that there's anything wrong with that, but it can look presentable.
Yeah. Real quick. So you go into the courtroom, right?
Yes,
like
I
what
do.
is that? That just left my mind. What is that called? When you, oh God, when you argue a case, litigation.
Sure.
Is it litigation? Okay. Yeah. He's like, sure.
We
Yeah.
trial,
Yes.
litigation.
When you go into trial, do you have to dress up?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody has to dress
Yeah.
up, right?
I was just talking to a judge that I just met on Thursday. He was excited because on Fridays he introduced the jeans,
Oh.
but just
Oh.
just for his office though. So he's excited. He's like, I'm wearing
Oh.
jeans on Friday. You attorneys still need to dress up. But I'm
So he's
gonna be
wearing
in
jeans under
jeans
his robe.
under
I
his
know,
robe.
but the attorneys have to show up
Yeah.
Still
presentable.
have to show
Yeah.
up. Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And is that
I love it.
Interesting. Is that something that you are okay with? Like, did you grow up wearing suits
Did
and
not
stuff like
work-
that?
no.
And like that's kind of like part of the job.
Yeah.
That comes with
Yeah.
the job. Like you don't think about that if you're gonna be, in court and stuff like that. You still you can't just show up in like some shorts and be like, hey, what's
I
up?
wish
You
we
know?
could.
Yeah.
No.
But I think in most corporate America jobs, I think some of them still more of the
I
conservative
think it's going. I
organizations.
think it's a little bit more laxed though now.
and I
no?
hate it, and I blogged about it. But hey, what do
Oh,
I say?
all right.
It is the truth. I think the casualness of life has gotten sloppy. That is the title of my blog. You can because it's not.
like that.
Yeah, because it just spills into your life. It just is the way you look. It just operates in relationships in every aspect of your life. You realize, oh, I don't care. I'll show up. Oh, you just get sloppy, and so it's just
Interesting. Yeah.
the way we
can see
come
that.
across, and it just spills into everything. It's I think it's terrible that we don't take time to like just show up and look presentable or just and
Yeah.
I grew up that way. My parents were very, very conservative as far as dress was concerned. And even if we went to the store, we had to look presentable. And my mom was so
Yeah.
proud about that,
Yeah.
that we just looked put together. And it didn't mean we were dressed to the nine. It's like we were clean and everything,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how she operated her household of 7 kids. So I
Yeah,
guess she
that's
had
a
to be
lot.
like,
Yeah, you had to be very.
Yeah.
Well, before we run out of, go ahead.
I would say our boys are the same way. They like to dress up. Paul
Yeah.
got invited to a birthday party on Saturday,
Yeah.
and he was
Yes.
the only kid. He wanted to wear a tie.
Yes.
Very good.
And he was the only kid that showed up at this party and he had a tie on.
But this
But
is
that's
what's
okay.
interesting, and I want to say something about that because it was at a country club and it was a family celebration, so it was a limited amount of students that were being invited because
Yeah.
the parents were celebrating 50 years of age, then their child was turning 21, and then the other child was turning 15, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was a family event with some extra, kids invited. So in the invitation, she said it was at the country club. Students they are not allowed to wear jeans, sneakers. It was dressy casual. So I told Paul, and I said, it's dressy casual. He goes, well, I want to wear a tie. I was like, okay. And he looked amazing. He had his suit pant on that we had, Robert had made for him.
So, of course.
And so when we pull up,
Perks.
exactly. But when we pull up, here are these kids with ball caps, jeans.
They had jeans on.
Yes,
right?
right?
And she specifically said
Yes.
no jeans.
And
Come
I'm
on,
like,
parents.
come
We
on,
have to do
parents. You are
better.
responsible. She sent an
Yeah.
email out saying, please be
not
mindful that it's being held
good.
at this country club and no jeans. And so what do you can't send these kids home. You're dropping them off. You know.
Yes, you can. Listen, I told people at my wedding, don't show up in jeans. And if you do, you won't be able to stay. I'm serious.
Bridezilla.
There's nothing wrong with jeans. That's a whole other conversation. There's nothing wrong
I know
with
you're
jeans.
wearing jeans right now,
I'm
and
wearing
you look
jeans right now.
right. You look
It's
presentable.
just the jeans that are sometimes too big, too baggy, a lot of holes.
Right. But
Just
faded.
don't like
I mean,
jeans
it's-
for a formal occasion.
no, that's
Well,
what I'm
for
saying.
a
She
formal
made a
occasion,
very specific
That's a different story.
email.
Yeah. So, all right, folks. Listen, thanks for showing up.
We're not done. Where are you going?
We do only have 3 minutes
I know,
left.
but anyway, I just think that, and I think that when young men, and I going back to Latino young men especially, when they show up presentable, it doesn't have to be all that. It can be a button-down shirt. I know my son a couple of weeks back was going to an interview, and I came downstairs and I was so taken aback because you drill things into their heads, but then you wonder, are they even listening? Do they even
Is it
listen?
sticking?
Exactly. And he looked so presentable. I was floored, and I shouldn't be floored because I mean there's an
Yes.
expectation. But I was so proud that he had the mindset to say, you know what?
I'm gonna do
going
this.
for, they're meeting me
Yeah.
for the first time. It's at a medical facility. I have to look presentable.
Yeah.
It's your first impression.
Yeah.
And our young men need to know it's the first impression that stays with people.
Yeah.
It's the way your
Yeah.
shoes are. They clean? Is your shirt, ironed?
Do you find that more in your field? Like, because I feel like the field of law is very about first impressions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's how people perceive you, and it's how they treat you from that point forward.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, when criminals, and I don't, but most, I know in Law and Order, when they have in criminals, they have them show up dressed to court. They may have stabbed somebody 10 times,
Yeah.
but then all of a sudden.
Is that true? I mean, do you guys, do you
Because-
encourage that often?
Oh,
Like all the
absolutely,
time?
because the DA wants to focus on that one incident that happened that night.
Okay. Not you as a whole person.
I come in trying to show you who the whole person is.
Yeah.
You're more than just
See,
that
that's why
one
he's on
wrong
my speed
decision.
dial.
Criminal.
Right?
Yes.
So, I mean, see
Is that
how
hard? See, we didn't even get to that. Is that hard to defend a criminal case?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Really?
It's all about the justice system. So what I tell my
So you
clients
stick to the
is,
law. See, that's why I love the law.
I tell my clients, I'm like, my job is to make sure that the officers didn't do anything illegal, and that the DA comes in with his A game. If the cops did anything illegal, we're getting this dismissed.
Okay.
And if the DA shows up with his B game, I'm gonna run circles around them.
There you
But
go.
if they're
Yes!
there, then I'm gonna try to soften the landing because you're going down.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. See?
Well, listen, let me tell you, if you need an attorney,
Call Evie Zavala.
Yes.
La 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 la.
yes, no, really. Well, listen, gentlemen, it has been an honor and a
I
privilege.
know this has been an interesting conversation.
Yes, very good, very good. I hope
I
that
love that we
everyone
had two extreme careers. We had
Yes.
very conservative, and now we had creative person, and
Yes.
that's really good for young men to realize there's a plethora of
opportunities,
opportunities.
And that it doesn't have to be held back by your race, your ethnicity, your
Right.
culture, that it's possible to really do. You guys are two amazing examples that anything can be done.
Yes,
That you go
and
after.
mentors, please.
Mentors, yes.
I have to say this. This past week, somebody asked me if I would mentor them, and I was really flattered. Yeah. I was like, wow, you want me to be a mentor? I have a mentee this week. I don't know if anything's gonna amount to that.
We'll pray for you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, but mentors are so
No, the
critical in
mentee.
both lives. I think, they're critical. Listen, and our son, who's a young adult, has how many mentors already come into his life
Quite a
that
few.
have they keep showing up and they keep helping him get to that next place.
Yeah.
That's critical. It's key. It's
Yeah.
key.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome. Thank you, Evie Zavala.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robert Mata.
Thank you.
I'll see you
both.
later.
for joining us. Listen, we are all out of time.
And go to voicesforpuertorico.com.
Yes.
We hope you've been informed, educated, and slightly entertained today. Join us next time on Table for Five here on the video channel.
Yes, have a great week.
Thank you for joining us, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
You're listening to Table for Five with Felicia and Annette, only on LA Talk Radio.